Sometimes I be right in your face and hit like Genjutsu in place. That's how it be though. Nothing but great effort just to get a C though. Eyes watching but we never seem to be though. Now, something that hasn't been touched up on in Boruto in particular is really the fate and the future of the tailed beast. Now, we know in the Boruto Naruto the movie adaptation that the Otsutsuki, Momoshiki, Kinshiki, but of course, you know, they combine and all that jazz, they came down because they wanted the chakra, they wanted to get that tree going, and of course to do that they needed to get the tailed beasts. Now, we know that a few of them are still, of course, the Nine Tails is still inside Naruto, which obviously in order to extract them, then Naruto dies, which of course that's with any Jinchuriki, so we know where the nine-tailed Kyuubi Kurama is. But then of course we have the Hachibi that is inside Killer B as well, and aside from that, I believe the rest of them are roaming free, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me, it's been a little bit since we've seen any of them. We know the One Tails was extracted from Gaara, he has remnants in him or whatever, and he has contact with him, but the One Tails, I believe it's Shukaku, he's free, and the rest of them are roaming free. For starters, I guess I want to know where they're all at. Are they just roaming around? Has any of the villages tried to capture them? Because we know historically, in the Naruto-verse, they were captured and people made Jinchuriki so that they had more ammo, you know, to fight amongst the villages. But the thing is, we're living in a time of peace now. The major villages in the Naruto-verse aren't warring anymore, so there's no need to go out there and seek these beasts that people will probably die trying to capture to begin with in order to have firepower in case stuff goes down. I think it'd still be smart. I think it'd be interesting if each village had at least one, even if it wasn't in captivity on some Jinchuriki stuff. Maybe they just, you know, they're around the village, you know what I'm saying? They have like a big forest in back of each village and they have one of the tailed beasts, but a lot of them are roaming free, and it's kind of like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? With like the group Kara or anybody that comes down for that matter that wants to absorb them, because that seems to be the case with the Naruto-verse, that villains, they want them, you know, whether it's Madara that wants to become the Sage of Six Paths and have all of their power and become a Jubi in a sense or whatever, but they're still roaming free, and it's kind of like, well, what's the fate of them? Because again, you gotta ask, like, if somebody comes down, and it's a mistake to be honest with you to have them just roaming free doing whatever. If somebody comes down and tries to attack, it'll be a while before they can all link up. And honestly, I do think, again, it's just not the way it should be. Like, they should be, yeah, of course, being free is fine, but it's kind of like, you gotta ask, are any of them, like, vicious or anything like that? No, right? Because at the end of the day, after everything that happened, and they remember the Sage of Six Paths and his final wishes or whatever, a lot of them calm down. So it's not as if any of them are just evil anymore. The one that was the most, you know, rawest and the meanest was the Kyuubi, and even his heart has been tamed. So they're not just wild that they'll attack anybody, of course, unless people are trying to capture them. So I guess one of the things I want to talk about in particular is, will there be any more Jinchuriki? I think to a certain point throughout the series, I think we should see more of them, because one, people are just constantly always trying to capture them. Again, right now in Boruto, the big villain group, essentially the new Akatsuki, are this group called Kara, and if their motives, which we don't know their motives yet per se, but if their motives have anything to do with trying to capture them, it's going to be fair and easy. Granted, they can of course communicate with one another, but if they do a very strategized and organized attack, they can immediately just take all of them out, you know what I'm saying, or capture all of them, and then the only ones left will be the ones that are inside the host, you know, Killer B, Naruto, and that's pretty much it. Again, I keep forgetting that. Yeah, Gaara's one has been taken away, so definitely there needs to be some sort of means, because to be honest with you, looking at it, I do think to a certain degree the Jinchuriki method was needed in a way, just because it always had that one person that, okay, we just got to protect this one person, opposed to this giant beast that's just roaming around. Having them secured there was a good way, but of course it was unfair to the beast that, like, yo, they're trapped inside of some human's body and stuff like that. And we know of course that when they die, they re-emerge, which was something that I think was a little bit later on ignored in Naruto, the fact that, hey, when they die, because then I guess you got to also look at it like, hey, when Naruto dies, what's gonna happen with Kurama? Are they gonna try and pass him down? When Naruto's on his deathbed, is he gonna be like, yo, let me just free him? Because again, he'll be reborn anyways, but of course he'll be a lot weaker because he'll be a baby fox essentially wherever he's reborn. So it's kind of making me wonder a lot of the future of the tailed beasts, and are they gonna keep being ignored at this point? They were a huge part of Naruto. Again, we don't know what's happening with this latest organization and what their, you know, motives are in particular, if it has anything to do with the tailed beast, but there still should be something going on with the tailed beasts because of the amount of power they have. We know that at the end of the day, as a collective, of course, they become the Jubi, and they're nothing to mess with. R.I.P. Neji, baby. I gotta just say it, R.I.P. Neji. We know that together they're a massive weapon that we can't afford to have, you know, just roaming around out there, which is why I say definitely, if it's not the Jinchuriki method of putting them inside of a human being, which again, it's unfair to the beast if they want to be free or whatever, at the very least, they should have some sort of pact where, hey, we want you to just live in our village. Maybe we'll have a big field for you out back or something, like a humongous forest that you can roam through and just chill in. But it's better to have them, you know, watched. So that way, something that, like the Momoshiki incident, somebody comes down trying to take them, we have better access to them, because them being free and just checking in when shit goes down is not the best course of action. I mean, because look what happened. Even him being inside of Killer Bee, the Hachi Bee, you know, the 8 tails, they still managed to kick his ass and take him away, which Killer Bee shouldn't have been roaming around free, but hey, it's Killer Bee, and he's known to be like a vagabond, rummaging and rapping, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I think they should have some formula, and I'm hoping that they address this in Boruto, because again, it's kind of been a little bit ignored. It's just like, hey, they're out there, hey, they check in, and that's about it. And you know, at the end of the day, checking in, I don't know how good is that, you know, some people don't check in, like, no. But yeah, I'm kind of curious what you guys think regarding the fate of the beast, the tailed beast in Naruto, in the Boruto story. What do you think should happen with them? Are you just like, hey, well, they're free, let them be? Because again, they are very unsafe. They are very powerful. If somebody comes and snatches one of them up, if a villain just captures a few of them and becomes a Jinchuriki to a few of them, he will be massively strong and be a major threat. The Borutoverse needs to get it together when it comes to that. Something I wanted to address that isn't really talked about per se in Boruto. It's like, okay, Kurama's inside of Naruto, 8 Tails is inside of B, and that's about it. And knowing how the Narutoverse is, if they want to continue remaining in this peaceful era, those massive monsters need to be in some form or another in communication with these villages. I'd say honestly, the biggest villages should have one each. Not that they're firepower anyway, because again, leaving them free would be fine, but it's just a matter of like getting it together, which I guess jumping into another quick topic regarding the tailed beast and, you know, Naruto having him inside of him, I'm curious what they have planned, if anything at all, for when Naruto ultimately dies, because again, when he dies, Kurama will be reborn somewhere else. But are they planning to continue the Jinchuriki method? Maybe Naruto is planning on passing him down to his son at some given point, or somebody else that wants, you know, and is worthy, of course, of having Kurama, because it's like, well, where do you go from here? Because we know Naruto can't just say, yo, Kurama, I'm gonna let you free now, because obviously he'll die if he's extracted. So it's kind of like, where does it go from there? Likewise with Killer Bee. Are they just, when they die, they're just going to allow the beast to die with them and be reborn? I guess that's a method as well, and that'll continue on with what they're doing of just letting them roam through the Narutoverse free. But it just seems very unorganized and very dangerous at the same time, mainly not even because of the beast, because we know that they've changed. They're not just savages that are just trying to hurt people. They're more on a better space, but it's like, where do we go from here? Are we just gonna allow them to be at risk? So when somebody wants to try this, let's just say Naruto and B, and that generation dies and all of the beasts are free, and another one of the Osutsuki clan that's still alive comes through and decides, oh, perfect timing, they're all free, let me grab them all up. What do you do there? What do you guys think about this whole debacle in a way? Do you think that they should continue the Jinchuriki method as long as the beasts are agreeing to it and they're like, all right, fine? Do you think that they should just continue and have each person in a village or whatever, not even on some manpower stuff, just so that way we have an idea of where they're at? Or do you think maybe we should do my idea of like, hey, just have them live somewhere close to the village? Each village, maybe, you know, a certain amount of villages has one, and that way they could keep an eye on them. And what do you think, again, is Naruto and B's plans for when they die? Do you think that they're gonna, in their final breath, let them free, or are they gonna just die with them and have them be reborn? Your overall thoughts on this, because again, the tailed beasts in Naruto don't really get addressed much, and it's a shame because they're a very big part of even what was going on with the 4th Great Shinobi War. Madara sucked all of them up for the most part and became the Sage of Six Paths, and then we had the, well, even before that we had the Jubi. That is a dangerous weapon, and without people like Naruto and Sasuke around, if somebody does that at some given point during the future, because the beasts are just going to keep being reborn, that'll be dangerous. I think they need to figure out a way to have them on lock, but still have their freedom in a way. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, stalk my Facebook, and follow me on Twitch to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day. Making major moves, laughing at the haters lose. We don't give a fuck, virginity intact, queen